What if everything you've been told about calcium is only part of the story? Every year, millions of people spend billions on calcium supplements, fortified foods, and expensive health products, all with one goal: stronger bones and a longer, healthier life. Yet osteoporosis continues to affect hundreds of millions of people worldwide. Fractures become more common with age, muscles weaken, and many older adults gradually lose the strength and independence they once took for granted. So why does this happen, even when so many people believe they're getting enough calcium? The answer may not be as simple as taking another supplement. In some of the healthiest and longest living communities on Earth, people have followed a very different path. Instead of relying on bottles and pills, they have spent generations growing nutrient-rich plants in their gardens, harvesting them fresh, and making them part of their daily meals. These plants don't just provide calcium. They deliver a remarkable combination of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and natural compounds that work together in ways scientists are still trying to understand. Perhaps the greatest lesson these communities offer isn't that there's a single miracle plant hidden somewhere in the world. It's that nature rarely works through a single ingredient. Instead, it creates powerful partnerships between nutrients, allowing the body to use them more effectively than we often realize. Calcium is a perfect example. Most people think of calcium as something that simply builds bones. But your skeleton is only one part of the story. Every heartbeat depends on calcium. Every muscle contraction relies on it. Your nerves use calcium to carry messages throughout your body, allowing you to move, think, and react. Even your blood depends on calcium to clot properly after an injury. Your body works tirelessly to keep calcium levels within a very narrow range. If your diet doesn't provide enough, it doesn't simply stop functioning. Instead, it begins withdrawing calcium from its largest storage bank, your bones. This process happens slowly, often over decades. By the time many people notice weaker bones or aching joints, the loss has already been happening for years. But researchers have discovered another important piece of the puzzle. Calcium doesn't work alone. Without magnesium, vitamin K, vitamin D, and several trace minerals, much of the calcium you consume may never reach the places where your body needs it most. That's one reason why nutrition scientists are becoming increasingly interested in whole foods instead of isolated nutrients. Plants naturally package calcium alongside many of the supporting compounds that help your body absorb and use it. It's a partnership that nature perfected long before supplements existed. Today, we're exploring 10 remarkable plants that have quietly supported generations of healthy aging. Some grow wild in fields. Others thrive in ordinary backyard gardens. Several have been treasured in traditional medicine for thousands of years, while modern science is only beginning to uncover why they earn such respect. And while each plant has something unique to offer, the first may be one of the most extraordinary nutritional powerhouses ever discovered: Moringa. Across parts of Africa, India, and Southeast Asia, Moringa is often called the miracle tree. It grows rapidly in poor soils, survives harsh droughts, and produces an abundance of nutrient-rich leaves year after year. For countless families, it has never been considered an exotic superfood. It's simply dinner. What makes Moringa remarkable is how much nutrition can fit inside a single handful of leaves. Gram for gram, dried Moringa leaves contain several times more calcium than milk, making them one of the richest plant sources of this essential mineral. But calcium is only the beginning. The leaves also provide magnesium, potassium, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, protein, and all 9 essential amino acids. Together, these nutrients help support healthy bones, muscles, and the body's natural defenses against oxidative stress. Researchers have also identified powerful antioxidants such as quercetin and chlorogenic acid within Moringa. These compounds are being studied for their potential to help reduce inflammation and protect cells from damage caused by free radicals, two factors closely linked with the aging process. Traditional communities rarely consume Moringa as a supplement. Instead, they stir fresh leaves into soups, add them to stews, or dry and crush them into a fine powder that can be mixed into everyday meals. It's a simple habit repeated over generations. Perhaps that's the secret. Not a miracle cure, but consistent nourishment. Growing Moringa is surprisingly easy in warm climates. Once established, it grows with astonishing speed, producing fresh leaves throughout much of the year. Even heavy pruning encourages new growth, making it one of the most productive edible trees a home gardener can own. Yet as impressive as Moringa is, the next plant often grows where most people least expect to find nutrition. In fact, many spend years trying to destroy it. Stinging nettle. Its name alone is enough to keep gardeners away. A brush against its tiny hairs can leave skin tingling and irritated for hours. Because of this, nettle has earned the reputation of being an unwanted weed. But appearances can be deceiving. For centuries, people living in the mountains of Europe gathered young nettle leaves every spring as one of the first fresh vegetables after winter. Long before laboratories could analyze its nutrients, they understood that the plant restored strength after months of limited food. Modern science helps explain why. Nettle is exceptionally rich in calcium, while also supplying generous amounts of magnesium, iron, potassium, vitamin K, and vitamin C. These nutrients work together to support healthy bones, maintain normal muscle function, and contribute to blood clotting and immune health. Researchers have also found natural compounds with anti-inflammatory properties that may help reduce the chronic inflammation associated with aging. Other studies suggest nettle may support healthy blood sugar regulation and urinary health, although research continues. The remarkable thing is that the sting disappears completely once the leaves are cooked or dried. What was once painful becomes a delicious ingredient for soups, teas, and vegetable dishes. Once established, nettle requires very little attention. It grows vigorously in moist soil and returns year after year, quietly producing one of nature's most nutrient-dense harvests. But while nettle hides its value behind tiny stinging hairs, the next plant hides its greatness in plain sight. Many people walk past it every week without realizing they're looking at one of the finest leafy sources of calcium available. Kale. Today, kale is found in supermarkets around the world, but its history stretches back more than 2,000 years. Farmers cultivated it long before modern cabbage or broccoli existed, valuing it for its ability to survive cold weather while continuing to produce nutritious leaves. Unlike some calcium-rich foods, kale contains relatively low levels of compounds that interfere with calcium absorption. That means your body can make particularly efficient use of the calcium it provides. But kale doesn't stop there. It delivers vitamin K, one of the key nutrients involved in directing calcium into bones where it belongs. It also supplies vitamin C, which supports collagen production, the protein framework that gives bones their flexibility and strength. Add in fiber, antioxidants like lutein and beta-carotene, and an impressive range of protective plant compounds, and kale becomes far more than a simple leafy vegetable. Scientists continue to investigate how diets rich in leafy greens contribute to healthy aging, especially when combined with regular physical activity and adequate vitamin D. Kale is also remarkably forgiving in the garden. It tolerates cool temperatures, resists light frost, and often becomes sweeter after cold weather arrives. With regular harvesting, a single plant can provide fresh leaves for months. 3 plants. 3 very different stories. Yet each reminds us that calcium is far more than a number on a nutrition label. It's part of a much larger network of nutrients that nature has quietly perfected over thousands of years. And the next plant may be the biggest surprise of them all. Tiny enough to fit between your fingers, yet packed with minerals that have nourished civilizations since ancient times. Tiny enough to fit between your fingers, yet packed with nutrients that have nourished civilizations for thousands of years. The next plant proves that remarkable things often come in the smallest packages. Sesame. Most people think of sesame as nothing more than the tiny seeds sprinkled across hamburger buns or baked into bread. But long before modern agriculture, these seeds were treasured across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia as one of nature's richest sources of nourishment. Ancient records suggest sesame was cultivated more than 5,000 years ago, making it one of humanity's oldest oilseed crops. Its remarkable resilience allowed it to thrive in hot, dry climates where many other crops struggled to survive. What truly sets sesame apart is its extraordinary calcium content. Just a small serving of sesame seeds contains an impressive amount of calcium, often far more than many dairy products when compared gram for gram. But nature didn't stop there. Sesame also provides magnesium, phosphorus, zinc, copper, and manganese, all of which contribute to healthy bones and connective tissue. Scientists have become especially interested in compounds called lignans, particularly sesamin and sesamelin. These natural antioxidants may help reduce oxidative stress while supporting healthy cholesterol levels and cardiovascular health. Although research is still ongoing, the combination of minerals and protective plant compounds makes sesame far more valuable than its tiny size would suggest. Traditional cultures rarely viewed sesame as a supplement. Instead, it became part of everyday life. The seeds were ground into pastes, mixed into breads, added to soups, or sprinkled over vegetables. Generation after generation consumed them without ever calling them a superfood. Growing sesame requires patience, but very little complexity. It thrives in full sunlight, prefers warm weather, and tolerates drought remarkably well once established. As the pods mature, they eventually split open to release dozens of seeds, a characteristic so well known that it inspired the famous phrase, "Open sesame!" As extraordinary as sesame is, the next plant has become one of the most celebrated health foods of the modern era. Yet its greatest strength is still overlooked by many people. Chia. Centuries before chia seeds appeared in grocery stores around the world, they were already sustaining ancient civilizations across Central America. The Aztecs valued them so highly that they were used not only as food, but also as currency and offerings during important ceremonies. There's a good reason why these tiny seeds earn such respect. Despite their size, chia seeds are loaded with calcium, providing one of the richest plant-based sources available. But calcium is only one piece of an impressive nutritional profile. They also contain phosphorus, magnesium, protein, fiber, and plant-based omega-3 fatty acids. Together, these nutrients help support healthy bones, maintain muscle function, and promote heart health. One of chia's most unusual characteristics is its ability to absorb many times its own weight in water. When soaked, each seed develops a soft gel-like coating that slows digestion and helps the body absorb nutrients more gradually. This may contribute to longer-lasting energy and improve feelings of fullness after meals. Researchers continue to study chia's potential role in supporting blood sugar control, cardiovascular health, and reducing inflammation. While no single food can prevent aging, diets rich in nutrient-dense whole foods like chia are consistently associated with better long-term health outcomes. Growing chia is surprisingly straightforward in warm climates. The attractive flowering plant also supports bees and other pollinators, making it a welcome addition to many gardens. But while chia has become famous around the world, the next plant remains one of the most misunderstood. Many people spend hours pulling it from their lawns every spring, never realizing they're throwing away one of nature's nutritional treasures. Dandelion. For some, it's nothing more than an annoying weed. For others, it's dinner. Traditional herbalists across Europe, Asia, and North America have valued dandelion for centuries, using nearly every part of the plant, from its leaves and flowers to its deep taproot. Modern nutritional analysis explains why. Dandelion greens are remarkably rich in calcium, while also providing generous amounts of vitamin K, potassium, magnesium, and vitamin C. These nutrients work together to support healthy bones, normal muscle contraction, and proper nerve function. The leaves are also packed with antioxidants, including beta-carotene and polyphenol, which researchers believe may help protect cells from oxidative damage associated with aging. Perhaps even more impressive is dandelion's resilience. It grows where few other plants can survive. Cracks in sidewalks, neglected fields, rocky hillsides, and forgotten corners of gardens all become home to this determined little plant. Some researchers are exploring compounds within dandelion for their potential effects on liver function, digestion, and inflammation. While much of this research is still developing, the plant's impressive nutritional profile alone has earned renewed attention from scientists around the world. Young leaves can be added to salads, lightly sautéed with garlic, or blended into soups. Their slightly bitter flavor has long been appreciated as part of traditional spring diets, when fresh greens were especially valuable after winter. Growing dandelions requires almost no effort at all. In fact, most gardeners spend far more energy trying to remove them than they ever would trying to cultivate them. For 1,000 years of agriculture have taught humanity an important lesson. Sometimes the plants we value most are the ones we've learned to recognize. Sometimes they're the ones we've forgotten. But the next plant has never truly been forgotten. Its bright green leaves have remained a symbol of freshness, healing, and nourishment across cultures for centuries. And hidden within those delicate stems is another remarkable source of calcium waiting to be discovered. Its bright green leaves have remained a symbol of freshness, healing, and nourishment across cultures for centuries. Hidden within those delicate stems is another remarkable source of calcium that deserves far more attention than it receives. Parsley. For many people, parsley is nothing more than a garnish pushed to the side of the plate. Yet for thousands of years, civilizations around the Mediterranean prized it as both a food and a medicinal herb. Ancient Greeks associated it with vitality, while traditional herbalists relied on it to support overall health. Modern nutrition has revealed just how remarkable this humble herb truly is. Parsley contains an impressive amount of calcium for such a lightweight leafy plant. But what makes it especially valuable is the company that calcium keeps. Every handful also delivers generous amounts of vitamin K, one of the most important nutrients for directing calcium into bones rather than allowing it to accumulate where it doesn't belong. It also provides vitamin C, iron, potassium, folate, and powerful antioxidants such as luteolin and apigenin. These natural compounds are being studied for their ability to help reduce inflammation and protect cells from oxidative stress, a process strongly linked to aging. Researchers have long emphasized that maintaining strong bones isn't simply about consuming more calcium. It's about creating the right nutritional environment for bones to continually rebuild themselves throughout life. Parsley contributes to that environment with an impressive combination of minerals and protective plant compounds. Fresh parsley can be blended into smoothies, mixed into salads, stirred into soups, or sprinkled generously over almost any meal. Unlike many vegetables, it grows quickly and continues producing fresh leaves for months with regular harvesting. But while parsley quietly strengthens the body from the inside, the next plant has earned a very different reputation. For thousands of years, people have believed it could calm both the body and the mind. Holy basil. Known throughout India as tulsi, holy basil is often treated with extraordinary respect. In many households, the plant grows near the entrance of the home, cared for not simply as an herb, but as a symbol of health, protection, and well-being. Although tulsi isn't among the richest sources of calcium on our list, It earns its place because of the remarkable way it supports the body's overall health. Healthy bones depend on far more than calcium alone. Chronic inflammation, elevated stress hormones, poor sleep, and metabolic disorders can all interfere with the body's ability to maintain strong bones as we age. This is where holy basil becomes especially interesting. Scientists classify it as an adaptogenic plant, meaning it appears to help the body adapt more effectively to physical and emotional stress. Several studies have investigated its effects on cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. When cortisol remains elevated for long periods, it may contribute to bone loss, muscle weakness, and accelerated aging. Holy basil also provides calcium alongside magnesium, vitamin K, and natural compounds such as eugenol and rosmarinic acid. These compounds are being studied for their antioxidant, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory properties. Traditional Ayurvedic medicine has recommended Tulsi tea for centuries, not because it promised miraculous cures, but because daily habits often produce the greatest long-term benefits. The plant itself is remarkably easy to grow. It flourishes in warm weather, enjoys full sunlight, and rewards gardeners with fragrant leaves almost year-round. Yet if holy basil teaches us about balance, the next plant reminds us that extraordinary medicine can sometimes be hiding in plain sight. You have almost certainly smelled it. You may even have it growing outside your kitchen door. Rosemary. Its unmistakable fragrance has filled Mediterranean gardens for centuries. Long before refrigeration existed, rosemary was used to preserve foods naturally. Long before laboratories existed, healers brewed it into teas and infused it into oils. Today, science is beginning to understand why this aromatic herb became so treasured. Rosemary contributes modest amounts of calcium, while also supplying manganese, iron, vitamin A, and several powerful antioxidants. Among its most studied compounds are rosmarinic acid and carnosic acid, both of which have attracted significant scientific interest. Laboratory studies suggest these compounds may help protect brain cells from oxidative damage, while supporting healthy inflammatory responses throughout the body. Although rosemary alone cannot prevent cognitive decline, researchers continue investigating its role in supporting long-term brain health as part of a nutrient-rich diet. Its fragrance may offer benefits as well. Several small studies suggest simply inhaling rosemary's aromatic oils may temporarily improve alertness, concentration, and memory performance. While more research is needed, these findings reflect what traditional cultures have believed for generations. Growing rosemary is refreshingly simple. It thrives in sunny locations, tolerates drought once established, and asks for very little in return. A single mature shrub can provide fresh herbs for years. By now, a fascinating pattern has begun to emerge. Every one of these plants offers calcium, but none offers calcium alone. Nature consistently combines minerals with antioxidants, vitamins, fiber, and hundreds of natural compounds that scientists are still working to understand. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson these plants have to teach. For decades, researchers searched for the single nutrient responsible for exceptional longevity. The perfect vitamin. The miracle mineral. The one compound that explained why certain people live so much longer than others. But that answer never came. Instead, scientists repeatedly found something much more ordinary. The healthiest populations weren't relying on one magical plant. They ate a wide variety of nutrient-rich foods. They spent time outdoors. They moved their bodies every day without thinking of it as exercise. They cared for gardens. They harvested fresh herbs. They prepared meals from simple ingredients. And almost without realizing it, they surrounded themselves with plants that nourished them in countless ways. That may be the real secret. Not chasing the newest supplement. Not searching for shortcuts, but returning to habits that have quietly sustained humanity for generations. Whether it's Moringa growing beside a village home, Kale thriving through the winter, Sesame ripening beneath the summer sun, or Rosemary filling the evening air with its unmistakable scent, each plant tells the same story. Health is rarely built overnight. It's cultivated. One meal, one season, one garden, one choice at a time. So you don't need to grow all 10. Choose the one that fits your climate. Plant it. Care for it. Watch it grow. Then let that single plant become the beginning of something much larger. Because every thriving garden begins with one seed. And every long, healthy life is built the very same way. If you enjoyed discovering these remarkable calcium-rich plants, be sure to subscribe to Forgotten Plants and join us for more fascinating stories where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember that sometimes the greatest medicine has been quietly waiting in the garden all along.